Welcome back to the Wilton Report. Today, we're talking to you about why 2026 will be one of the most important years in Princeton real estate in over a decade. A lot going on, a lot converging. If you haven't subscribed to the Wilton Report, please do so. Hit the subscribe button, and please feel free to share this broadcast with anybody you know thinking of buying or selling real estate in Princeton, Mercer County, or Central New Jersey, or Bucks, PA for that matter. So that's it. Let's get to the details. Before we start, December the 18th, we do have a seller seminar. If you're thinking of selling in 2026 and you'd like to be our guest, we had our first meeting last week. It was very well attended. People got a lot out of it. I don't think sellers realize how much they have to prep, and they tend to last minute it. Like, don't do that. You make more money and have less stress if you plan. Please be my guest on December the 18th for breakfast. Just text to 609-773-8054. Just text seller seminar and we'll send you the particulars. And it's a catered breakfast by PJ's Pancake House here in town. So let's talk 2026. It's going to be an important year for Princeton real estate, probably one of the most important ones in a decade. You just have a lot of trends converging on the market. So you have, I'll just say, the federal government's a mess. I can't really say they're doing a good job because they're not. You have a new governor coming in to the state of New Jersey. So employment is a little dodgy nationally and even locally, right? Novo Nordisk just had a layoff. There's rumors of other pending layoffs, and this business is all about jobs. It's not rates, it's jobs. So if people are not happy with their job situation or they're nervous, they will put off buying a house. And then you just have the fact that people have just been sitting in their houses since COVID on low rates. And at some point, people need to move. So a lot will be happening in 2026. So the first slide I'm going to show you is third quarter data. I meant to show you this sooner. I forgot. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, which is fine, I'm going to kind of walk you through the data. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, it's easier to see it. So in 2013, there was 199 single-family units sold in Princeton through the end of the third quarter. This is through third quarter data, okay? The high point was 2022 at 219, and then it went down to 168. Then it went down to 147. Last year, we were at 132 through the end of the third quarter. Really bad. This year, it's back up to 156. So the number of single-family homes that are selling is improving. And I'll show you the inventory trends in a minute. The issue is where they're selling in terms of price point, not geography, though that matters. Price point. So if you look at this slide, to me, this is borderline disheartening, right? So in 2012, 111 single-family homes sold in Princeton through the end of the third quarter. The peak was 2013 at 126. And then you see a steady decline. The last peak was 91 in 2021. And then it went to 54, and then it went to 39. Last year was 25. This year's 28. So not a big improvement. So the number of single-family homes below $1 million that have sold year-to-date in Princeton, 28 through the end of the third quarter. In 2012, it was 111. That's a major affordability issue, which is the issue nationally on so many levels. Your gas, your groceries, right? All the other stuff that is happening. So the 1 to 2 million range in 2012, there was 44 single-family homes that sold through the end of the third quarter. Fast forward to 2025, it's at 77. The peak was 2021 at 101 single-family homes sold because there was actually more inventory on the market. Last year was only 58. So it is getting better, right? However, there's less affordability in the Princeton market than any time in the history of the Princeton market. Period, full stop, end of story. It doesn't matter. There is no debate on that one. You can debate on a lot of things, not on affordability in Princeton. The over 2 million segment, like this, is a stunning slide. In 2012, 7 homes sold over 2 million in Princeton through 3 quarters. In 2025, it's 51. And I'm not laughing like, haha, this is so funny. People can't afford houses. I'm laughing because it's kind of crazy when you look at the math on paper like that. So homes in the 2 million segment have seen the highest increase in transaction volume. However, you know, not that many people in the state of New Jersey can afford a $2 million home, right? It is challenging. I met a couple at an open house last weekend that have been searching for a year and a half. Now, they didn't know a lot of the basics that they should. That's their fault and their agent's fault. But man, like it's not easy out there, right? So let's talk inventory shift. So this slide sort of details, again, through third quarter, because I think that's the only baseline data. We're not going to do year over year through third quarter. It's just clean data. In 2015, 393 homes came on the market in Princeton. And that's everything. That's condos, studios in Palmer Square, you know, the mansions in Rushbrook, the western section, Littlebrook, Riverside, whatever. 393. That was the high water mark, at least on the slide, because I wanted to give you a pre-COVID, like a normal year. 2020 was 362. It hit 337 in 2022, going down consecutively. And then it was 273, 274. This year, it jumped a little bit to 299. So you are starting to see inventory come back to the market. And look, some of it's people are just aging out, right? People are just like, it's time for me to move. You know, sometimes it's, you know, divorce. Sometimes it's death. There's all the life reasons why people actually move. They don't stop because of COVID, right? Like people are living together because of divorce and COVID and rates and pricing. However, right, eventually life catches up with everybody. An interesting stat, when you look at the dollar volume of homes listed in 2015 on 393 homes was $492 million. In 2025, it's 299 homes, basically 25% less, and it's $548 million. So $140 million more, right? And 25% fewer homes. It just shows you the average price has gone crazy. The listed median, and this is condos to mansions, right? In 2015 was 1.125. 2025 was 1.450. Solds, it was at a peak in 2021 with 316. This year, it's at 211. The only 2 years lower were 2023 at 204, 200, and this year we're at 211. And the sold median went from 935 in 2015 to 1.40 million this year. So what's a preliminary prediction for 2026 for Princeton Real Estate? There will be more inventory coming in the market. Full stop. People are leaving the high school, kids. People have been putting off moves since COVID, low rates, you know, whatever. They're not relocating. They're not making that life move that normally they would make. Inventory will come back to the market. The last time inventory came to the market, which was really 2021, 2020, rates were really low. This year, rates are going to be at 6. So it'll be, you got to watch that employment thing happening, right? If employment gets bad, rates will come down. However, you have the tariff pressure, as they call it, on inflation, keeping inflation maybe artificially or just the new normal high. So there's a lot that could happen in 2026. I'm not going to do my prediction until January, but that's an inventory trend. We are seeing more homes come to the market. They're not getting absorbed as fast because, again, as you saw in the previous slide, the majority of them are above $2 million. Like over 50% of the market's above $2 million. Now, when you look at the market, right, if you're a buyer for a single family home under $1 million, it's crazy competitive. Crazy competitive. If you're a buyer 1 to 2 million, really super duper competitive. 2 million plus, it's going to be competitive, right? But, you know, you don't have to rush perhaps. Like maybe you can do an analysis on the house before you buy it. So what will loosen inventory, rates, and time? Time is inevitable. It's just inevitable. So you will see people sell, people get tired of being landlords, the whole thing, right? The other thing I want to talk about is, and this is not a Mamdani thing. This is not like, I don't care. I'm going to New York next weekend for the day. Can't wait to go. New York's New York. It's the greatest city in the world. So, but what we do see here in Princeton is a migration from New York City. Compared to New York City, Princeton's a really good deal. right? So post-COVID, 75,000 New Yorkers moved to New Jersey in just 1 year. And that hasn't really stopped because New York is so unaffordable. So it's sort of like the most unaffordable place on the planet, which was the mayoral plank of how he won, right? People are leaving the city because it's not affordable, and they come to New Jersey. And again, if they can take the train to work, access to jobs, all that stuff. Now, the other thing too, right? The NAR did a survey, and it said 80% of buyers and 9 out of 10 Gen Z and millennial buyers will pay more for a home in a walkable community and school quality that is the top decision-making factors for families. Princeton has that sweet spot. It's walkable, sort of, right? It's got great schools. It's got the university. It's got the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶, the cafes, the restaurants, all the other stuff. So it's not like somebody from New York City is going to leave Prospect Park and move to Sparta, because they're not, right? They're more or less not. They're going to be on a train line to New York, and they're going to want to be in a town that has some of the amenities that they've grown to love in the city. And that's walkability, and that's culture, that's diversity, right? All the things that are all these cultural buzzwords politically. So when you look at the values, right? Brooklyn's like 700 to 1,100 square foot, and you're not getting a big parcel of real estate for that money. Bronxville, 750 square foot. Princeton, it's 500 to 700, depending if it's older or newer, new construction, whatever. So, it's not a migration, it's not a political migration. It's probably an affordability migration, because even if you come over the river from New York City to Summit is 30 minutes to Midtown, it's 30 minutes to Wall Street, really. So the closer you are to the city, the higher the price of the real estate. Princeton's a little bit of a clip. It's at least an hour and change, depending where you're going in the city, comparatively affordable. Let's just say comparatively, because I understand Princeton's not exactly affordable anymore. So again, when you look at Princeton, right, compared to New York City and New York City river towns, like Bronxville, the median sale price in Princeton is $1.8 million with a price per square foot of about $500 a square foot. Took that right off of a website. Brooklyn, $731, right? The average price per square foot in Brooklyn, $1,109 in the fourth quarter. That's from Corcoran. Second highest on record. Crazy. The Bronx River towns, I'm just looking at Bronxville because, again, it's got that walkability. It's got the cachet. It's a cute town. It's got a nice downtown. The median price per square foot in Bronxville was $609, right? And it's up to single family homes is up to $752. It is not at that for Princeton. That's new construction for Princeton. So comparatively to other New York exurbs, Princeton's a pretty good deal, right? So my advice for 2025 sellers, I do think more inventory is coming. I don't think it's going to be horrible. I think it's going to be a healthier market, thank God, for everybody, especially buyers. So if you're a seller, beat the spring search. If you're a buyer, know the math, know the market, know the math, know the market. If you're a seller, you'll see more people be putting their house on the market as the year goes. It's inevitable. Life catches up to us all. So my advice would be kind of, list early and beat that late surge. Now, obviously prep stage, whatever. And buyers, you got to know the math, you got to know the market. So if you are thinking of buying in Princeton in 2025, 2026, or if you're thinking of selling and you want some advice, please text me, 609-773-8054. Available 24/7. Unless I'm asleep, of course, I'll get back to you the next day. So again, it's Josh Wilton. Thank you for watching the Wilton Report, and we'll see you at our next episode.